Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of the Psychosin project here on YouTube. Unfortunately you won't be seeing me on camera today, as unfortunately this morning my webcam decided to completely crap out and stop working. So I'm doing this as a workaround, but still bringing you reviews as usual. Trying to work out for a new camera, hopefully a better quality camera for future reviews. Just need to get some money first for that, but anyway. Today I'm reviewing Gore Metal, a necrospective, which is the re-recording of the classic debut album by the one and only goregrind band Exhumed. I'll admit I've never heard the original, so let's get into this. This is going to be me going, as usual, track by track and telling you what I think from the perspective of someone who has never heard the original version of this album. The band did go in, completely re-record the whole album, so I can't really do a comparison. I've heard a few tracks I've got their best of, but what was the best of? The Platter's a Splatter best of, but apart from that I can't really do a normal comparison. However, I can tell you what I think of the album as a whole. Does it still hold up as a classic, or is it one that you should really sort of pass by? Well, time to dive in and find out. The first track on the album is called Necromaniac. Now this one starts at full speed with an awesome riff, then the vocals kick in that classic old school Carcass fashion. The guitar sounding like razor wire cutting through flesh. There's a nice shouty chorus making it easy to remember, and this is probably already a classic live, this song. As we get to the middle we have a slowed down riff and tempo that goes straight into a guitar solo that takes us to the end of the song. All in all, a fantastic start to the album. Up next is Open the Abcess. Now this one starts with a drum roll that then goes into another superb riff. A scream from the vocalist sets us off into the song proper, with a tempo that keeps changing between thrash and slow kind of breakdowns. We then go into a full speed goregrind metal of the highest order, of recalling classic sort of early Carcass, and even a little bit of Napalm Death in there as well. We then go back to, then another memorable chorus kicks in on this song. There's a nice use of the dual high and low vocals on here, again echoing early Carcass. There's a drum roll in the middle that takes us into the guitar solos. A complete breakdown from all the instruments at about the 2 minutes 30 mark. Then there's a drum roll and back into the high speed metal riff from the beginning of the song, and that takes us to the end. The next song is Postmortem Procedures. Now this starts with a very heartwork styled riff, nice, slow and menacing. We then begin the song with the very low death metal styled vocals, leading into a more thrashy speed riff, helping to vary things up. And there's a guitar solo in the middle that ups the tempo from the slow menacing riff into that thrash riff as well. There's superb drumming at the end that keeps the pace up until the breakdown into the slower tempo riff from the beginning of the song, with the lower end vocals leading the song. And there's a great riff repeated over and over to take us to the end. This must surely be an absolute classic of a song. Up next is Limb from Limb. Now this starts with an almost biohazard type riff before the drums kick in, and we're off for some classic high speed grind blasting. The whole song breaks down in the middle to just the sound of the drums, bass, and an actual use of a chainsaw, with the vocal shouting the title of the song over and over. I'll give it to them. Out of everything they could have used for instrumentation, the chainsaw's unique. I'll give it to them, and I believe they use it live as well. And the guitars kick back in on this, and we have the chorus being repeated over and over. Then we get one more repetition of the verse until a crash and drums and the guitar brings us to the close of the song. Next song is Enucleation, if I'm even pronouncing that correctly. Now this starts with a nice bass slide that goes into a mid-paced riff. Both the high and the low vocal scream, and we're back to a main riff as well. There's a single guitar that starts playing the main riff, and the whole band joins in, taking us into high speed gore grind. In the middle we break down to a much slower, almost doom style riff that's full of menace. We then break into the solos and back to the high speed riff from the start of the song. The vocals kick back in with that superb riff that's been driving the song along throughout the whole song. Yeah, that made sense. At a nice pace until a drum break, and we're into a mid-pace riff to take us to the end of the song with the odd bass, drum and vocal breaks. Casket Crusher is the next song. Now this starts with a high-speed Slayer-styled riff, topped off with a massively long scream from the vocalist. Again, there's great interplay between the low and high vocals for the chorus on this song. Solos in the middle were used to great effect to increase the intensity of the overall feeling of the song. We break down to just guitar, then another long scream from the vocalist with the rest of the band crashing back in dramatic fashion. We then get another pre-chorus and then another repetition of the chorus to take us to the end of the song. The next song is Death Mask. Now this starts with a fantastic intro riff. There's a nice blast beat from the drummer. This menacing riff continues playing until the low vocals kick in properly and we're into a superb high-speed grind riff. We then slow down to mid-pace, an almost groovy riff for the chorus on here. This breaks down to a single guitar, then the band joins in, and we're into an almost obituary-styled slow riff being punctuated by superbly judged drum fills. We then speed right back up to high-speed riffing and drumming. When we get to the last 30 seconds of the song, we're down to a mid-pace groovy riff for a bit, then full-on high-speed blasting from the drummer to take us through to the end of the song. Track 8 on the album is In My Human Slaughterhouse. Now this starts with a mid-paced riff before those low vocals kick in. We then speed up after 20 seconds to a nice groovy fast riff with again great vocal interplay between the high and the low vocals before we speed right up into high speed thrashing. After a little while of that we slow right back down to the mid-paced riffing from the start of the song, getting that sick groove going again until we speed right back up and the thrashy riff takes us through to the end of the song. Up next is Sepulchral Slaughter. This starts at full speed with a nice vocal grunt. A scream then takes us into the song proper. A high speed riff then takes us into a break, into a thrashy riff as the low vocals come in. And we have the name of the song screamed by both the high and the low vocals. A solo kicks in reminding me of the great obituary solos from back in the day on their Slowly We Rot album. For the last minute we're into superb, groovy high-speed riff and some more guitar solos. Then enter Vegetarian 2. Now this starts with drums, then a slow carcass-styled riff full of menace. The vocals scream over the top and then we speed up to mid-pace riffing and swapping between the low and the high vocals throughout the song. We break down to just drums and guitar in the middle of the song, with more instruments joining over time, adding to the menace and overall feel of the song. Then we have both guitars playing the melody together before a drum fill takes us back to the high-speed riffing and drum blasting from before. A slow riff and drum beat takes us to the end of the song, along with a slightly discordant guitar playing the main melody. Next up is a short 2-minute song, and it's the shortest song on the album, called Blazing Corpse. Now this starts with a bass and drum, then straight into a frenetic high-speed riff. The vocalist screaming at an almost out-of-control pace. In the middle of the song we slow down to a mid-pace riff for the chorus, then back into high-speed, classic goregrind riffing. One more repetition of the chorus takes us to the end of the song. Not very long review for this song, but obviously only 2 minutes. Not really much I can say about it. Well, we've just had the shortest song on the album, so now, to end the album, we've got the longest song on the album, which is almost 6 minutes long. Now, this starts with a nice mid-pace, kind of almost a monomarth-styled mid-paced riff. After the first verse, we speed up with a different riff, take us to a more thrashy-style sound. Before the low vocals take over, we get some great blast beating from the drummer. This takes us into high-speed riffing and drumming, the kind that make the pits go wild if they ever play this live. We break down to a mid-pace riff again with a single guitar, then the second guitar joins in, adding to the increasing menace of the song. We're then back to the mid-pace riff from the song start until we speed up and we get to the guitar solos kicking in. A complete breakdown in the middle of the song takes us back into the thrashy riff from before. As the song continues towards the end, so does the intensity of the vocals and the instruments. For the last minute of the song we're back to the mid-pace riff and another guitar melody played by both guitars, almost as if like a solo, which takes to the end of the song and the album, just as the song continues playing but fades out. So, what do I think? Well, as someone who had never heard the full Exhumed debut album before anyway, I really enjoyed this. I'm going to have to check out some more Exhumed, definitely. For those who were fans of the original album and are fans of Exhumed, I know where you might be coming from on this. I mean, why re-record an album that's already been out for several years now, where you could spend that time, I don't know, writing and recording a new album? Sometimes it does make the song sound better, and maybe the reasoning behind this was that the band had changed the song slightly or gotten tighter over the years and felt the song sounded better now than when they recorded the first album. So I can understand where they're coming from. Is it worth buying if you own the original? Yeah, probably. I mean, I'd imagine there's a few little differences, and overall, let's face it, Goregrind back in the day wasn't really that well recorded, but with improved technology, maybe you can hear more of the subtle differences in the songs and the subtle riffs as well. But yeah, all in all, it's a recommendation from me, especially if you've never heard Exhumed before. Definitely start here. Anyway, I have been Psychosin. Hopefully next time I will be back with a camera. I do apologise for the lack of video here and this being quite a short review, but it's a great Goregrind album. There's not really much I can say for songs that are only about 2 to 3 minutes long all the time. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed, and I will be back soon.